Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're not just reviewing Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, chapter 21, we're doing a deep dive. This chapter is a game changer, folks. The power scaling has been cranked up to 11, and Sarada Uchiha has shattered expectations, forcing us to reevaluate her place among the Uchiha. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, Boruto Uzumaki makes his grand entrance, setting the stage for a monumental clash with Jura. But before we get lost in the excitement of new powers and epic battles, it's crucial to dissect how we arrived at this point. Chapter 21 isn't just about flashy fights, it's about character development, emotional depth, and unraveling the mysteries that have been building up. We'll meticulously examine the series of flashbacks that illuminate Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan awakening, providing a richer understanding of her journey and the complex emotions that fueled this transformation. The chapter opens with a poignant flashback featuring Sarada and Chuchu during the Boruto Part 1 timeline. Sarada confidently declares her ambition to become Hokage, a dream that resonates with echoes of Naruto's own aspirations. The setting appears to be after the events of Naruto Gaiden, specifically the Shin Uchiha arc, which adds a layer of context to Sarada's mindset. Notably, neither Sarada nor Cho-Cho is wearing a headband, suggesting this scene occurs after that arc. Cho-Cho, in her characteristic style, remains focused on her pursuit of finding a boyfriend, providing a lighthearted contrast to Sarada's serious demeanor. This scene serves as a springboard for Sarada to reflect on Boruto's promise, his vow to be her shadow, mirroring Sasuke's role for Naruto. We witness Sarada's subtle blush, hinting at the complex emotions she harbors towards Boruto. Then we move towards another flashback, where Sumire questions Sarada about her feelings regarding Boruto's popularity with other girls. This sequence offers a glimpse into Sarada's true feelings, which are further emphasized by a cleverly redrawn scene from Naruto Gaiden. Ikemoto masterfully recreates a scene where Naruto explains the responsibilities of a Hokage, but this time it's presented from Sarada's perspective, providing a deeper understanding of her motivations. This artistic choice is a brilliant Easter egg, connecting Sarada's aspirations to Naruto's legacy. Then we shift towards a shot of Sarada running through the village, allowing us to delve into her innermost thoughts and insecurities. She confesses that she doesn't perceive herself as an amazing shinobi, a sentiment that might surprise readers given her accomplishments in Part 1. However, this vulnerability creates a powerful parallel to Sasuke's early struggles in Naruto Part 1. Like his daughter, Sasuke was often blinded by his rivalry with Naruto, preventing him from recognizing his own progress. Sarada, now a genin who has participated in missions, falls into the same trap, highlighting a recurring theme of self-doubt within the Uchiha clan. The manga reminds us that before Boruto's acquisition of the Karma Seal, Sarada and Boruto were relatively equal in terms of power. Kakashi's statement in the anime, where he acknowledges Boruto's strength as being above Chonin level, supports this notion. The Boruto movie novel and promotional materials for the VS Momoshiki arc further solidify this, explicitly stating that Sarada and Boruto were comparable to Chunin level shinobi. However, the emergence of the Karma Seal drastically altered this dynamic. Boruto's power surged, as demonstrated in the sparring match against Naruto, where Naruto was forced to use shadow clone trickery to defend himself. The threat of Momoshiki, who effortlessly destroyed Boro, further emphasized the growing power gap. Sarada, despite her own growth, felt as though she was being left behind, a sentiment that weighed heavily on her. This sense of being unable to keep pace with Boruto's escalating power, coupled with other emotional burdens, ultimately becomes a crucial catalyst for the awakening of Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan. We see flashbacks to the night Omnipotence was cast, the announcement of Naruto's death, and Sasuke's declaration of his intent to kill Boruto. These events trigger an emotional breakdown in Sarada, as she grapples with the weight of Boruto's suffering and her own powerlessness to help him. This brings us to a pivotal point, the true nature of the Mangekyo Sharingan awakening. There's a common misconception that the Mangekyo Sharingan is solely awakened by witnessing the death of a close friend or killing one's best friend. While Itachi's words contribute to this belief, the manga itself presents a more nuanced explanation. The Uchiha eyes evolve in response to the loss of a loved one, but also as a result of intense despair and profound profound self-disappointment during a traumatic experience. Ikamoto meticulously lays out the factors contributing to Sarada's awakening: her admiration for Naruto, her ambition to become Hokage, her special bond with Boruto, Kawaki's attempt to eliminate her and Boruto, the memory swap, and the shock of Naruto's supposed death, and Sasuke's pursuit of Boruto. Sarada's emotional turmoil is multifaceted. Her idol, Naruto, is believed to be dead. Her own father, someone Boruto admired, is now driven by a desire for vengeance against Boruto. This is particularly painful for Sarada, who has expressed a desire for Naruto to be her father. She is overwhelmed by helplessness and disappointment, feeling powerless to prevent the conflict between Mitsuki, Sasuke, and Boruto. It's crucial to emphasize, as the manga does, that the trigger for Mangekyo Sharingan doesn't always require witnessing death directly. Sasuke himself clarifies this to Boruto, explaining that extreme mental or emotional shock, essentially intense trauma, is the catalyst. Sasuke's explanation to Boruto provides a crucial insight into the nature of the Mangekyo Sharingan. He states that these eyes reflect the heart, a significant detail, especially for the Uchiha clan, known for their capacity to feel love with extraordinary depth. This explains Sasuke's decision to trust Sarada to save Boruto, recognizing the power of her emotions and the potential of her Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke also notes that Sarada might not immediately grasp the full extent of her awakened power, but he predicts that it will soon be unleashed. He further emphasizes the rarity and strength of her Mangekyo, characterized by its straight pattern of triangles. Then we shifts to the present, where Sarada confronts Ryu, her face filled with rage. Yodo's lifeless body lies nearby, a stark reminder of the stakes. Ryu launches an attack using his iron sand, but Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan demonstrates its unique ability to absorb it. The black holes that manifest behind her play a crucial role in this, effectively nullifying Ryu's jutsu. Ryu attempts a surprise attack targeting Sarada's blind spot, but she swiftly reacts, and her black holes once again neutralize his assault. The number of black holes increases, strategically covering all of Sarada's blind spots and trapping Ryu and the Claw Grimes. It's worth noting that Sarada has 8 triangles in her eye, while only 4 black holes are initially shown, hinting at the existence of multiple powers. The chapter unveils another facet of Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan, gravity manipulation. She uses this ability to levitate herself and Ryu high above the desert landscape. This display of power has sparked debate among fans, with some questioning the feasibility of flight without Six Paths Chakra. However, the manga draws parallels to the Deva Path's push and pull and Onoki's flight during the Fourth Great Ninja War, demonstrating that flight is achievable in the Naruto universe without Six Paths Chakra. Ryu attempts to anchor himself by penetrating the ground with his iron sand, but Sarada effortlessly dismantles his efforts. Mitsuki clarifies to the audience that Sarada's power allows her to manipulate gravity using her black holes or spears. The manga delves into the science behind black holes, explaining how their immense gravity is generated by a massive amount of mass compressed into a tiny point, creating a singularity. This gravity is so intense that not even light can escape, mirroring Sarada's ability to absorb Ryu's attacks. Mitsuki emphasizes Sarada's selective control over what is drawn into the black holes. Sarada confronts Ryu, declaring that she will no longer run away. She acknowledges that her goal of becoming Hokage felt distant due to the overwhelming challenges she faced, such as the battles against Ishiki and Code, and Boruto's apparent death. Her inability to participate in these conflicts instilled fear and a sense of inadequacy. The threats faced by the current generation of shinobi far surpass those encountered by previous Hokage. Furthermore, Sarada grappled with her feelings for Boruto, viewing them as a weakness that hindered her pursuit of her Hokage dream. She admits to suppressing her feelings and denying the power that stemmed from her deep concern for Boruto. Mitsuki's reaction during this exchange is particularly noteworthy, as he seems eager to witness the unfolding drama. Ryu's response is equally intriguing, suggesting that Sarada needs therapy to address her emotional complexities. This prompts a discussion about the nuances of translation, highlighting the challenges of conveying the full meaning of the Japanese word used in this context. The word can imply darkness in one's heart, mental instability, or an unhealthy obsession in a romantic relationship. The ambiguity of the term underscores the complexity of Sarada's emotional state, where multiple interpretations could be valid. In a decisive moment, Sarada harnesses her Mangekyo Sharingan to draw Ryu's body into one of her black holes. She declares that she is finished running away, recognizing that inaction prevents her from protecting others. The manga poignantly displays Yodo's lifeless body, emphasizing the consequences of the conflict. As Sarada intensifies the gravity of the black hole, Ryu desperately attempts to escape using his claw mark. However, Sarada anticipates his move and amplifies the gravity to a point where he cannot utilize his Shinju technique. Sarada's resolve solidifies as she proclaims her intention to become Hokage. This declaration could potentially trigger a Kotodama effect, a Japanese belief that words possess power when spoken. Naruto exhibited this phenomenon, gaining a mental boost whenever he voiced his Hokage ambition during battles. If this principle applies to Sarada, her declaration could provide her with a significant surge of strength and determination. Sarada then unveils the name of her Mangekyo Sharingan power, Mangekyo Sharingan Ohirume. The manga showcases a stunning single-page spread featuring all 8 triangles of her Mangekyo Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan. Ohirume is a name that carries significant weight, drawing a connection to Amaterasu, the revered Japanese deity. The importance of the accent mark in the translation is emphasized as it alters the meaning of Ohirume. With the correct accentuation, the name translates to Great Sun Lady, or she who is a noble woman of the great sun. This is particularly fitting considering Sarada's lineage as a member of the Uchiha clan, one of the 4 noble clans of Konoha. Furthermore, it serves as a nod to another title associated with Amaterasu, Ohirume no Muchi no Kami, meaning she who illuminates the heavens. This connection to Amaterasu elevates Sarada's power to a divine level, hinting at its immense potential. Sarada's attack is depicted as a monstrous display of power. The black hole implodes, consuming Ryu within its gravitational pull, and then erupts in a devastating explosion. This visual representation is a fascinating nod to the Hawking radiation theory in real-world physics. Hawking radiation posits that black holes, after an incredibly long period, trillions of years, become so compressed and dense that they eventually reach a point where they release a final cataclysmic burst of energy in the form of an explosion. It's worth remembering that the Boruto series has previously explored the intersection of science and the ninja world, a core conflict that adds depth to the narrative. The incorporation of Hawking radiation into Sarada's attack aligns with this theme, grounding her extraordinary power in a scientific concept. The aftermath of this attack reveals the toll it takes on Sarada. Her eyes are bleeding more profusely, and she collapses to the ground, succumbing to exhaustion. Mitsuki is there to catch her, ensuring her safety after her hard-won victory against Ryu. This victory is significant, as Ryu was not a weak opponent. There's a tendency among some fans to assume that all Shinju are automatically on the same level as the Ten Tails, simply because they are derived from it. However, this is a flawed assumption. It's akin to equating every user of Sage Mode to the strongest version of Sage Mode Naruto, or every Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball to the strongest form of Goku. Power levels and strength vary greatly. The Shinju are complex beings created from a combination of different elements. It's more accurate to think of their creation as a recipe. The ingredients include Ten Tails chakra, the chakra of Code, who with his limiters removed is stronger than Jigen, Code's karma seal, which contains the essence of Ishiki, and the chakra of the individual consumed by the claw Grimes. Boruto himself acknowledges in Chapter 6 that even though Code isn't an Otsutsuki, the power within his karma is Otsutsuki power, and this power is used to influence the Shinju's creation. Jura later confirms Boruto's theory, stating that Code was responsible for birthing these awakened Shinju. Furthermore, the Shinju also possess Shibai cells, a significant power boost. This explains why Mamushi, created from bugs, was strong enough to challenge base Boruto, whereas the original bug was relatively weak. The Shinju are essentially a concoction of incredibly potent ingredients, all contained within a humanoid body. This complex composition is why Code was unable to break free of Ryu's restraints despite his efforts. He was trapped by the very power that constituted Ryu. It also clarifies why Ryu was unimpressed when Code attempted to attack Jura with his Kama, and why Jura casually granted Ryu permission to eliminate Code. The Shinju are demonstrably superior to Code in terms of power, a fact that is alarming considering that adult Sasuke stated that they stand no chance against base Code. As Mitsuki attends to the exhausted Sarada, he observes the manifestation of the Thorn Soul bulb. The narrative then transitions transitions to Ada, who is in communication with Boruto and Kashin Koji. Ada informs Koji that Ryu has been defeated by Sarada. Koji's reaction is chillingly calm. He reveals that everything is proceeding according to his plan. This revelation deeply disturbs Boruto, especially when Koji nonchalantly mentions that Yodo's sacrifice was a necessary part of the plan. Boruto, recalling his earlier question in chapter 17 about the probability of failure, confronts Koji. Koji had stated that the chances of failure were low, but he deliberately omitted the fact that his plan involved the expendability of certain individuals. These individuals were essentially pawns, sacrificed to achieve the desired outcome. Boruto, horrified by Koji's callousness, demands to know if this was the only way. Koji coldly reiterates his stance, stating that Boruto's involvement was crucial to reawakening Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan power. He dismisses the significance of Yodo's death, prioritizing the overall objective. This exchange highlights the stark contrast between Koji and Jiraiya. While Jiraiya possessed a compassionate and empathetic nature, Koji is pragmatic and ruthless, willing to make difficult choices for the greater good. Boruto, deeply troubled by Koji's lack of empathy, presses him about Konohamaru's fate. After some hesitation, Koji reveals that Jura possesses a shared sensory connection with all the Shinju on the battlefield. He warns Boruto that revealing himself would lead to his demise, as Koji has foreseen multiple possible futures where this occurs. The narrative shifts to Konohamaru, who is in a perilous situation, facing imminent death at the hands of Matsuri. This scene directly follows the events of the previous chapter, emphasizing the severity of the threat posed by the Shinju. It's crucial to dismiss any notion that Konohamaru is comparable in strength to Matsuri. Such scaling is inaccurate and misleading, similar to incorrectly equating Chuchu's ability to briefly stun Jura to being relative in power. Chuchu's attack was a surprise maneuver against a stationary Jura, restrained by Shikadai's Shadow Possession Jutsu. Matsuri's attack on Konohamaru is decisive. However, the situation takes a dramatic turn when a shuriken suddenly strikes Matsuri's shoulder. Boruto then teleports onto the battlefield, confirming to Mitsuki that the metal pieces he leaves behind are indeed used for teleportation. This revelation is significant, raising the question of whether Mitsuki will inform Kawaki, who possesses the ability to shrink those markers. This detail is crucial for future plot developments. Boruto doesn't hesitate. He swiftly draws his sword and eliminates Matsuri. Kashin Koji curses Boruto's intervention, as his arrival alerts Jura to his presence. Jura now appears poised to engage Boruto in combat, setting the stage for an epic confrontation. The chapter's conclusion leaves readers on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating the clash between Boruto and Jura. This confrontation has been building up for several chapters, and it promises to be a pivotal moment in the series. The outcome of this battle will likely have significant implications for the future of Konoha and the fate of the ninja world.